discussed, right? So anyone having any questions, any challenges while practicing? Everyone practicing, right? Everyone practicing? Yeah. So live application. So any digital application, any core application, how can we deploy? We discussed, right? In the last session, we deployed the Cake Zone application, Cake Zone static website, right? So in the Docker container, and we map the port number to the container, and we can once we map the port number to the container, so yeah, that will allow you to connect to the internet, right? So port number required to connect any website, any application, right? Yeah, fine. In real-time projects also, in real-time projects, so same way we can deploy the required applications as per the project requirement. We can deploy and we can configure the applications. Fine. Yeah. So today we are going to discuss about Docker networking. Docker networking is very important concept. So how can we create the network? How can we communicate between internets? How can we enable the communication? So how can we check? So let's try to understand here. So today's concept is Docker networking. What is network? Why network? Why the communication required between the containers? Okay. So these are all we discussed today. Yeah. So networking. So when we talk about network, so when we talk about network, so any network. So basically, what is network? It can be any network. It can be service network or containers between our pods. What is network or what is networking? Anyone? Docker networking. Yeah. What is network or networking? Networking is a communication between devices or communication between resources which are hosted in the data center, right? Or communication between containers which are hosted in the host machine, right? So, yeah, here networking is the communication between resources. So, what is Docker networking? What is Docker networking? Docker networking is a communication between containers which are available in the host machine. Which are available in the host machine, right? Yeah. So here Docker networking allows you to attach a container to a custom networks. So normally when we create any container, we create in the default network, right? So when we create any containers, so normally in AWS console, when we create any EC2 instance, where we create that, when we create instance, where the instance will be created, default VPC. So when we create any EC2 instance, we can create in the default VPC, right? Yeah, so default VPC, default network. So we need to follow the default rules. So when we use the default network, we need to follow the default rules, right? Yeah, so whatever the rules they provided, that we need to follow, right? So when we use custom networks, when we use custom VPC or custom network, we can follow the custom rules. Same way, so here also in Docker also, so we create custom networks. So far we created the container. So far we created the containers in default network. Yeah, so default network, we need to follow the default rules. That is why what we will do, we can create custom network and we can create the custom rules. We can follow the custom rules, right? Yeah. Now, what we will do here? Docker networking allows you to Docker networking allows you to attach a container, attach a container to attach a container to a custom network. A custom network or networks means our own network, our own network. By default, yeah. So by default, we have a network which is a bridge network. Bridge network. By default, bridge network is available. So in the Docker, I'll show you that. Default network is bridge network. So always, yeah, always we follow the custom networks in real-time projects. We don't use the default networks. Default network having default rules only, right? We don't, normally it will not allow you to create the custom network, custom rules. So custom network when we create, so instead of this custom network, we can create our custom rules. But default networks, so we need to follow the default rules only, right? For example, for example, this is the host machine. This is the host machine. Host machine is a Docker server. Yeah. So this is the host machine. Now, inside of this host machine, what I will do, I create one network. Normally, by default, one network is there. Network is available. One network is available. So which is we can say bridge network. This we can say bridge network. Okay. Default network or bridge network. So this network range is 170.17.0.1 range. This network range is, yeah, 170.17.0.1 range. Okay. So now on top of this, what I will do, I want to create three containers. These are the three containers I created on top of this default network. Default network. So here we have three containers created here. Three containers. Okay. So here, container one is having the IP, which is 172.17.0.0.3. 0.4. Because these containers are attached to the network, default network, which is having the which is having the same range available. Same range we uh, configured here. Okay. So by default, that your network takes this default range, which is 172.70.0. Now, so these containers are in same network. All the containers, all three containers are created in the same network. So same range. Okay, so they can communicate each other. Container one to container two, container two to container three to container one. They can communicate each other because they're in the same network range. Okay, yeah. So here container one is having Nginx deployed. Nginx is the application deployed. So container two is having HTTPD deployed. So container three is having, so here we deployed databases. So here, these containers are in the same range, same network. They can communicate each other. That is fine. But here, database hosted on the container, which is also communicating with the other containers. So normally in real-time projects, what we will do, we should not allow inbound traffic to the database containers. So we should not allow inbound traffic to the database containers because if you allow inbound traffic to the database containers, there may be chances to leak the data. If you allow inbound traffic to the database containers, there may be chance to leak the data. So that is why what we will do. So we should not allow inbound traffic to the database containers. Understanding, right? So this country is having the same range IP. Yeah, this container one, container two communicating to the container three. So here, database containers normally use the data sets. So in that containers, use data sets are available, right? So in case, yeah, this container one, container two, the users, when they communicate container three, there may be chances to leak the data. There may be chances to leak the data, right? If you allow the communication. So that is why what we will do, this content should be restricted. Inbound traffic should be restricted. Okay. So for which what we will do, we create one more network, custom network. So here we are already having default network, which is the bridge network. So now what I'm doing here, I want to create one more network, which is custom network. This is custom network, which is we can say busy network. Custom network, or we can say busy network. We can give the name as busy network. Okay. So this network range is 172.18.0.1 range. So this range is 172.17.0.1, 172.18.0.1, two different ranges. Okay. So how can we divide the ranges here? How can we divide two ranges? So here, so every IP is having four octets, right? Look at this, everyone. Every IP is having four octets. So these are the four octets. Okay. So first two octets, we can say network address. Second two octets, we can say host address. Network address, host address, right? So here, this network address is 17.17 range. This network address is 17.18 range, right? So network is completely changed. Network address is completely changed. So that what will happen here? Communication will not be happen from this default network to custom network. Because these are the two different networks. Once we create the custom network, what will happen? One firewall will be created between the two networks here, like this. Firewall will not be allowed to communicate from one network to other network because network address has been changed, right? Now, So here, country 1 to country 2, country 2 to country 3 to 1, they're communicating each other. But here, country 3 is having databases, right? So that is why what we have to do, this container inbound traffic should be restricted. How can we restrict? With this, attach here, okay? Once we attach here, what will happen? So this country is attached to both the networks. Country 3 attached to the both networks. So here, country 3 is having two IP addresses, which are 172.18.0.2 and also 170.17.0.4. Two different IPs available, two addresses, two different network IPs. Okay. So still this container can communicate each other. This container, it will communicate to the container 1, container 2. So container 1 also, they can communicate, yeah, container 1 and container 2 also, they can communicate with the container 3. So because, so this container is available in the default network and a custom network. So in the next scenario, what we will do, this container, container 3, I want to disconnect from first network, default network. So that what will happen? This container is, yeah, whatever the IP range available in this container, which is a 17.7.0.1 range, that will be removed. That will be gone. Only custom network range is available. Custom network IP range is available. So this container, once we disconnect the container from default network, this container will be completely isolated. Okay. So if you want to allow communication between two networks, we can execute one command, single command, small command. Okay. You want to disconnect, we can disconnect that by using the command, right? So normal in real-time projects, always we restrict the inbound traffic to the database containers. So database containers should not be allowed inbound traffic. So in case if you allow inbound traffic to the database container, there may be chances to leak the data. So that is why, so make sure we need to attach the database containers to the custom network and we can apply the custom rules to the database containers. Clear, right? The scenario is clear, right, everyone? Scenario is clear, right, everyone? Any questions here? Before going to create the containers in the default network and before going to create the custom network and how can we attach container 3 to the custom network? How can we restrict the traffic? How can we disconnect the container from network, default network, which is, yeah, so bridge network. These are all we discussed. Any questions here? Yeah. First of all, what we will do, so we already having this default network, right? In this network, we can create three containers first. Container 1, container 2, container 3. After that, we can check the communication between these containers, three containers. Yeah. So after that, yeah, we need to restrict the traffic to the database container because database containers are having used data sets, right? How can we restrict? So we can create custom network. We can attach the container 3 to the custom network. Okay. Yeah. So let's go and work on this. Now, so I want to connect this server, copy public IP, open mobile stream, session, search, equal to now switch user hash. Now, if you check here, Docker images, these are all images available. Now, if you check Docker ps-a, you can check all the containers which are in exited mode, stopped mode. Okay, so clear the screen. Now, I want to check the networks. What are the networks available here? Okay, so for which command here is Docker network ls. So this is the bridge network. Default network is the bridge network, right? So here we discussed already. Bridge network or default network. So this network range I want to check. If you want to check the network range, command here is Docker network inspect network name bridge. Look at this. This is the name, network name. This is the gateway range 107.17.0.1. Gateway range. Now what we will do, instead of this network, I want to create three containers. So how can we get the containers? Command here is clear the screen. So command here is docker run -it, docker run -it, space hyphen name, space container name, container one, space image name. Image name we can give Ubuntu. Now I'm in container one, right? So container one is created here. So now what I will do, okay, so exit from here. Now, if you check here, Docker PS. So Docker PS is the command to check the running containers. Okay, look at this. This is the container one. Now this container one is attached to the which network? Container one is attached to the default network, right? So how can we check? I want to inspect one more time. Docker network inspect bridge. Look at this. Container one is attached to the which network? Bridge network, right? So this container IP is 17.17.0.2. This container one IP is 17.7.0.2, right? Now, same way I want to create two more containers, container 2 and container 3. Container 2, container 2 is created here, right? So container 2 is created here. So container 3 also I want to create quickly. So container 3 also required here. Yeah, so three containers created here. Now I just want to inspect this. Yeah, so three containers, container 1, container 2, container 3, three containers. Now, these three containers can communicate each other, right? So how can we check? I just want to connect container, container 1 or 2, I want to connect and I want to check the communication between the containers. Okay, so first I want to connect container 1. How can we connect container? How can we connect existing container? Anyone? What is the command? We discussed already. What is the command to use? What is the command to connect our existing containers? So now command here is docker execute. So I just want to use sudo docker execute exec space hyphen it space container one space slash bin slash sh. Yeah. So login. Now I'm in. Now I'm in container one. I'm in container one. Right. So once we log into the container one, so now here I want to ping container two. So container two IP is 17.17.0.3, right? Ping 172.17.0.3. Container one logged in, right? Okay. Just a minute. Control PQ, clear the screen. Now Docker network, Docker inspect container, Docker inspect, Docker network inspect, network name, which network here. So here, before going to ping, so I just want to inspect container also. So Docker inspect container name or container ID. Container. Right. Now what I will do, I just want to connect again. Quickly, I just want to connect this container again. To connect the container, so execute command only we can use here. So normally, once we log in the container, so look at this. So here, Docker execute Docker execute hyphen it space container name. I just want to connect container two space slash bin slash sh. Now ping 172.17.0.2. Why it is not found? Ping is not found. Normally ping should be okay. So ping also yeah. So in free tier ping. So normally okay. It's not allowing, right? Just a minute. Ping 172.17.0.0.4. Okay. So ping is not available. So here, normally, as per the scenario, so if the countries are in same range or if the servers are in same range, so make sure the server should be communicated, right? The servers are the countries should be communicated. So here, by default, we created the countries in default network. So those should be communicated. But here the ping is not working. So ping should be required here, right? So okay, we do one thing. Okay. First, yeah, ping is not working because ping also required here. So subscription level normally we enable the ping, but here we are using the community edition, right? Community edition we are using. Enterprise edition ping will work. Now, normally, so in this range, three countries are attached to the bridge network, right? So these countries are having same network, same IP ranges here. Same network, same IP ranges. 107.17.0.2, 107.17.0.3, 107.17.0.4. So the countries are in the same range, they can communicate each other, right? So here, uh, this country is having databases, for example. We haven't installed any databases, but normally, how can we restrict the database containers? That is the concept here. Okay. Yeah. So here, this country is having databases, for example. So this container inbound traffic should not be allowed to this container. Inbound traffic should not be allowed. So if you allow inbound traffic to this container, there may be chances to leak the data. So that is why what we will do, we can create one custom network. We can attach this container to the custom network. Okay. So that network traffic will be controlled because two different networks, right? Yeah. Now, actually, ping should work. So, but under communication, it is not allowing. Okay. Anyways, now what I will do, I want to create one network, which is custom network, and I want to attach this container to the custom network here. Okay. So for which, how can we create the custom network? How can we attach this? Let's try to understand. So in second scenario, I'll show you how to ping. Okay. So this is the first scenario. Second scenario also we can work today. So in second scenario, I'll show you the ping. Okay. So now I want to create one custom network and I want to attach this container to the custom network. How can we create a custom network? Command here is Docker network create, Docker network create network name, busy network. Yeah, network is created here. Now, if you want to check the networks, Docker network ls, look at this. This is the bridge network, this is the busy network. Two networks are available. Now, Here, what I will do, I want to inspect the busy network. Docker network inspect busy network. Yeah, look at this. This is the custom network, right? Busy network is the custom network. This network range is 17.18.0.1, right? So this completely network address has been changed, right? So in this, what we will do now, whatever the container is available in the default network, which is container 3, that I want to attach to the custom network. How can we attach? So command here is, now I want to attach the container 3 to the, I want to attach container 3 to the custom network. So how can we attach? Docker network connect is the command. Docker network connect space network name, busy network, space container name, container 3, enter. So now what happened here? So container 3 is attached to the custom network. Now if you execute this inspect command, you can see the container 3. Look at this. Container 3 is attached to the custom network. So container 3 is attached to both the network, right? This is attached to the both the networks, default network, custom network. So default network IP is different IP, different range, 17.17.0.3, right? 0.3 or I think 0.4. So here custom network IP range is 17.18.0.2. So this country is having two IPs, two IP addresses, right? So they can communicate each other. Still, they can communicate each other. But here, my requirement is I want to isolate this contract. I want to isolate this under 3. So completely I want to isolate. How can we isolate? So we need to disconnect from the first network. Now I want to disconnect from the first network. So currently Content 3 is in both the networks, right? Now I just want to inspect bridge network. You can check here. Look at this. So Content 3 is attached to the bridge network also, right? This is the bridge network. And also this contains attached to the custom network also, right? Now I want to disconnect from the default network. How can we disconnect? Docker network disconnect. Docker network disconnect. Network name, bridge, space, container name. Right? Now it is disconnected. Now this container is disconnected from the first network. Now if you check here, inspect bridge network, look at this. Right? Yeah. Now, if you check the busy network, if you inspect this busy network, so look at this, container 3 is available. So this container 3 is in custom network only, not in busy net, not in default network. So this container is, yeah, having the range IP range is 17.18.0.2. So this range is different range. That is why, so no one can communicate to the, so from container 1, from first network to second network, communication will not be happened because this range is completely different. Clear, right? Any questions here, anyone? So now quickly what we will do. Yeah, this is first scenario, right? This is a normal scenario. I'll show you one more scenario, which is very, very important. So what we will do, second scenario. Meanwhile, you can ask your questions. If you have any questions, you can ask me. In the second scenario, what we will do. For example, we have two networks, DevOps network one, DevOps network, right? So this network range is 172.19.0.1 range. This network range is 17.20.0.1 range, right? So we have two networks available. Now, what I will do, I want to create three containers here. C1, C2, and C3, three containers. So here we can attach C1 to the network one, C2 to the network one. So here C3 we can attach to the network two, C2 also we can attach network two. Okay. So here C1 to C2 will be communicated, C2 to C3 will be communicated. C1 to C3 will not be communicated. So here, yeah, from here to here, communication will not be happened. Because, yeah, so this network range is different, C1 network range is different, C3 network is different, right? That is why they cannot communicate each other. So if you want to communicate each other, you need to enable the cross networking. You want to communicate each other, C1 to C3, C3 to C1. So we need to enable the cross communication. How can we enable? Like this, we need to enable the cross communication. Okay. So this we can create quickly. So here, ping may work here. Ping may work because two different networks, right? We'll see that. Okay. Yeah. Now what I will do quickly, I want to create two networks here. DevOps network one, DevOps network. After that, I create C1, C2, C3. C1, I want to attach to the network one, C1, C2. C2, C3, I want to attach to the network two. So here, this container IP is 170.19.0. This container IP would be 3. This container IP 20.0.2. Okay. Yeah. So this IP, this container is having, yeah, normally this container will be having two IPs, 17.19.20.0. Okay, like this. Fine. Now let's go and quickly we can create this and we can check the communication also. Communication may, the ping may work here. We'll see that. Okay. Yeah. So clear the screen. Now I want to create two networks quickly. DevOps network one, DevOps network two. So everyone following, right? Any confusions here? Online? Any confusions here? Is it clear to you? This scenario is clear to you, everyone? Shall we go and create the new network? One more scenario. Right. Now, I want to create two networks first. Docker network create, Docker network create custom network name DevOps network. Okay, network created. Now I want to create one more network, network two. Okay, so here now I just want to inspect both the networks. Docker network inspect. Docker network inspect, network name, DevOps network one. Look at this. The DevOps network one range is 17.19.0. No containers are attached here. No containers. Okay. Now I want to inspect network two. Look at this. 20.0.1. 17.20.0.1. Right? Yeah. So both the networks are different networks. Both the networks are different networks. Right? Now, if you want to check the networks, how many networks are available? Docker network ls is the command to check the list of networks. Busy network is there, DevOps network, DevOps network one, network two, bridge. These are all the networks available, four networks. Now, what I will do, I want to create containers. I want to create containers. So how can we create the containers instead of the custom network directly? Okay. So Docker run hyphen IT space hyphen name C1 space hyphen network space network name DevOps network one space image name. Okay, okay. So here the ping is not working, right? The ping is not working, right? Why it is not working? Because we haven't used the that image should be changed. Whatever the image we used, that image should be changed. The image problem here. So we use the Ubuntu image, right? Should not use that. Ubuntu image should not be used that. So we require one more image, which is Docker pull image name busybox. Normally, this image you can use for networking. For networking concepts, we use this busybox. Look at this. This is the busybox. This image we need to use. Ubuntu should not be used. If you use the Ubuntu, it will not allow you to communicate. It will not allow you to ping. Okay. Now I want to create containers. Here, three containers. Command here is docker run space hyphen it space hyphen name container name C1 space hyphen network space network name. DevOps network one image name busybox. Enter. Now the header is created here. Okay. Control PQ. Now network one is having C1, right? Network one is having C1. I want to create one more container C2. I want to attach to the network one, right? C2 also created here. Now control PQ. Now I want to inspect network one. I want to inspect DevOps network one. Look at this. So C1, C2 attached to the DevOps network one. DevOps network one is having C1 and C2 containers attached here. Understanding, right? Now I want to check the communication here. I want to check the communication between C1 and C2. For which, yeah, I just want to log in C1 Docker, Docker, execute -it space container name C1 space slash bin slash sh. Now ping C2. Now look at this. C2 is pinging, right? Either you can use the IP address or container name to ping that. Ping C2. So yeah, C1 to C2 is pinging, right? Control J to stop this. Now I just want to log in C2. Now ping C1. Now we are able to ping C1. C2 to C1. Now we are able to ping, right? Yeah. So Control J to stop this. Control PQ. Now I want to create one more container in custom network 2, DevOps network 2. C2, C3, I want to create inside of the network 2, right? So for which command here is docker run -it space hyphen name container name C3 space hyphen network space network name DevOps network 2 network name DevOps network 2 space image name enter. So now I'm in container 3 which is hosted in the network 2, right? Now control PQ. Now I want to ping C3 from C2 to C3. I want to ping. Yeah, ping C3, not pinging. Bad command, bad address. Because C3 is attached to the custom network, which is a DevOps network too, right? So here, as per the scenario, as per the scenario, C1 can communicate C2, C1 can communicate C2, C2 can communicate C3. Because see here also this connection is not established. This connection is not established, right? So this we can establish first. So here control PQ. Now I want to connect C2 to the network 2. I want to connect C2 to the network 2. How can we connect? So command here is docker network connect network name DevOps network 2 space container name C2. C2 I want to connect to the network 2. Enter. Now it is connected. So now you can inspect. So we can inspect here. So C1 is network one is having C1, C2. Network 2 is having C2, C3. Look at this. Network 1 is having C1 and C2. This is the network 1, DevOps network 1. Now network 2 is having C2 and C3. C2 and C3. Network 2 is having C2 and C3. Understanding right, everyone? Clear, right, everyone? Now, I just want to log in C1. C1, I want to log in first. Ping C2. Now, from C1 to C2, I'm able to ping. Right? C1 to C2. Now I'm able to ping. Right? Control PQ. Now I want to log in C2. Now ping C1. From C2, C1 is pinging. From C2, C3 also will be pinging. Okay. So Control Z to stop this. Now ping C3. Look at this. C1 to C2, C2 to C1, C2 to C3 also pinging. Understanding that you C2 is attached to both the C2 attached to the both the networks. C2 attached to the both the networks. So here C1 is having 172.19.0.2, 0.3, and here 20.0.2, here 17.20.0.3. So this country is attached to both the networks, right? C2 attached to the both the networks. That is why C2 is having two IPs here. How can we check the IPs? Now let's go and check the IPs here. So C2 is having two IPs, right? How can we check? Let's try to understand here. Yeah. So now I want to check the C2 IPs. How can we check the C2 IPs? Okay. So here, Docker inspect C2. Look at this. C2 is having two networks, right? DevOps network 2, IPs 17.20.0.3. DevOps network 1, IPs 17.19.0.3. 19.0, yeah, 19.0.3, 20.0.3. So because C2 attached to both the networks, C1 to C3 will not be ping. C1 to C2 will be ping. C3 to C1 also will not be ping. I'll check it out. Now we can check this. Okay. Now I just want to log in C3, C3 to C1. I want to ping C1, not pinging, bad address. C2. Now we are able to ping C2. C3 to C2 we are able to ping. C1 will not allow you to ping. Right? C1 to C3 will also will not be ping. So now Control Z to stop this. Clear the screen. C1. Ping C2. C1 to C2 we are able to ping. Ping C3. C3 will not be ping. Right? Yeah. So because C2 is attached to both the networks, C1 to C2 we can ping, C3 to C2 we can ping. Okay. Now C2 is having two IPs, right? Now I just want to check only IPs for C2, for which Docker inspect C2 space pipe space grep space -I space. What I'm doing here, I just want to check the C2 IPs. Two IPs we have, right? Look at this. C2 is having two IP addresses: 17.19.0.3, 17.20.0.3. Two IP addresses. Because C2 attached to the both the networks. Understanding that? Clear, right, everyone? Now what I will do, next scenario, I want to configure cross networking. Next scenario, C1 to C2 ping is happening, C2 to C3 ping is happening. C2 to C1, C2 to C3, it is okay. C1 to C3 not pinging, C3 to C2, C3 to C1 also not pinging because two different networks. Now, what I will do, I want to enable the cross communication for which C1 I want to attach to the network 2, C3 I want to attach to the network. So that what will happen? They can communicate each other. So C1 to C3, C1 to C2, C3 to C2, C3 to C1. They can communicate each other. Clear, right? Understanding that, everyone? Now I just want to enable the communication and I want to check the communication is happening or not. Okay. So now C1 I want to attach to the network 2. For each command here is Docker network connect network connect network name Docker network connect network name DevOps network 2 space C1. What I'm doing here, C1 I want to attach to the network 2. Okay, so enter. Now this is attached. Next one C3 also we need to attach to the network 1. C3 I want to attach to the network 1. Enter. Now what happened here? Cross communication established. So if I inspect network 1, if I inspect DevOps network 1, what are the containers available instead of this? Instead of this network, what are the containers available? Any guess, anyone? If I inspect network 1, how many containers will be available? Network 2, how many containers will be available? Any guess, anyone? Network 1 and network 2, if I inspect, how many containers will be available? Three containers, three. Okay. So network 1 is having C1, C2, and also through this C3, right? C network 2 is having C1, C2, C3. So both the networks are having three containers here. You can check the containers here. Both the networks are having two, three containers, right? Now I just want to inspect both the networks. Go back here. Now inspect network 1. Yeah. Network 1, I want to inspect Docker network inspect DevOps network 1. Look at this. This is the DevOps network 1. DevOps network 1 is having C1, C2, C3. Three containers are available. DevOps network 1 is having three containers C1, C2, and C3. Now DevOps network 2 is having network 2 also having C1, C2, and C3. Understanding right? So both the networks are having three containers because we configure the cross networking, right? So all the containers So container one, container two, container three, they can communicate each other. So if you want to restrict the traffic to the C3, what we have to do? This we need to disconnect. This connectivity should be disconnected. So that what will happen? C3 will be isolated. Clear, right, everyone? The concept is clear, right, everyone? Any questions here? Any questions here? You can ask your questions. Yeah, Manadeep asking a question. In real time, we create containers in host or user mode or okay. Okay, good question. Most of the time, use the user mode. Sometimes we switch to the root mode. It also required. So yeah, so whenever you want to normally real-time projects, any core activities, any deployments, right? While working on any deployments, we can switch to the root. Most of the time, we use the user mode only. Fine. Yeah. So this concept is networking concept is very, very important concept. Okay. If you get a chance to work on this, same comments we can use in real-time projects. This this scenario, this scenario recently we implemented in Euro project. This scenario recently we implemented in Euro project. So here we took four custom networks, and we configured 200 containers for the four custom networks. Okay. As per the client requirement, we need to configure as per the client requirement. Right? Do we do this network when using Kubernetes? Kubernetes also require networking, yes. Kubernetes also networking concept requirement. We discuss about the networking concept. Kubernetes also. In Kubernetes also we use the containers. Kubernetes is having Docker dependency. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll discuss about two concepts which are Docker Swarm and Docker Compose. What are the images supported in real time? So here for testing, we use the busybox. In real time projects, real images we use. Real time images we use. Busy for testing only. Test image. In real time projects, we use the custom images. As per the client requirement, we use the custom images. Clear, right? Yeah. So make sure everyone practice. So these concepts, these two scenarios are very, very important scenarios. So yeah, images be supported, but so required respective image only we need to use like busybox. Busybox is for networking, right? Like that, you can use the uh, custom images for the networking. Fine. So make sure everyone practice this. Tomorrow we'll work on the remaining concepts. and we'll jump into the Kubernetes. Fine. Yeah, we can stop here. Make sure everyone practice it. These concepts are very, very important concepts. Don't miss the practice. So if you practice daily basis, you can easily cope up in the projects. Once you join to the project, once you switch into the project, okay, you can easily cope up. Make sure everyone practice. Fine? Yeah. Thank you all.